Hello and welcome to another indie horror game. This time we're going to be playing a game called Quiet Basement. And in this, we've woken up in this basement with no recollection of who we are or what we're doing here. Supposed to be a pretty short little game, about 10 to 15 minutes long, but this was heavily inspired by things like, what was it, stuff like The Quiet Place, which was a really interesting little movie and a very curious example of some kind of non-conventional, I guess we'll say like non-conventional concepts maybe would be an appropriate term. I'm not really sure. But yeah, this looks really interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. But I'm also kind of curious to know what the hell I'm supposed to do, because the game pretty much just starts with like some small credits, and then it goes ahead and it just dumps you on in. So what does that say? Don't something something something? It's kind of hard. Does that just say you suck at the bottom? Yeah, I kind of don't know what to do here, because all of my normal oh, there we go, okay. I was going to say all of my normal interactable controls just don't really do shit. Alright. I mean, so this was, I think, made by like 4 people or so. I think like 4 different names came up on the credits, and so far this actually doesn't look half bad. I don't know what the hell that is, but I guess there's something. Yeah, it kind of like freaks out. Oh, okay, so it's something like on the other side of that I can't see. There's like somebody freaking out. All right. Curious. I guess, yeah, let's just go ahead and keep on looking. Yeah, game looks really good. It doesn't run particularly smoothly, but I guess it could always do worse. Interestingly, shift is actually like a slow walking, not a run, which makes me think that we're gonna need to do something that requires us to walk. Alright, what do I have here? There's Monopoly City. A bunch of playing cards. Okay, can I can't take that flashlight. Can I take this this hacksaw? No, I wanted to try to use that to saw through the chains, but no, it looks like that's not an option. Well, I guess if I just woke up somewhere with no fucking memory of how I got there, my first reaction would be to try to get the hell out, right? That seems like the most appropriate solution. Come on. Come on, game. Okay. Again, it's very weird. It's like, it's not so much hitting a button to interact as much as just kind of rubbing your face on it. And yeah, now we're back downstairs. Or at least in a very, very similar looking area. Yeah, we're back down here. Okay, so we're caught in like a time loop. Okay, so what does that actually say? It says don't make a sound. Okay. What happens if I do make a sound? Like, is that why there's this slow walking mechanic going on here? Do I need to... Why do I feel like this is just going to end with a jump scare and I'm just going to kind of be annoyed? That is interesting, though, the idea of, like, having a game that's don't make a sound. Yeah, that would actually be really kind of curious to have an entire game whose whole gimmick is just, for the love of God, don't make noise. You know, that, like, at all, you couldn't do anything. I think there was... Oh, what was it called? Is it called... I think it's called Stifled or something like that, which is a game I'm probably not going to play, but if I remember right, it actually has a very similar mechanic, at least for part of it. It's like a horror game, and I think it does a thing where when you speak, you're actually like, yeah, at what you say, or when you talk into your microphone, that's how you're supposed to see, like echolocate throughout the world. But creatures and enemies can also see you. Yeah. Okay, let's leave, I guess. Actually, I probably shouldn't leave. I should probably just chill here and then, I don't know, try to hide in a corner or something. Because, yeah, I bet... Yeah, I bet if I try to go around there or something, I'll like, step on a loose board or then I'll get killed. So don't make a sound. But then what am I... Oh, hello. Was this pried up before? What is that? What is that that's down there? I can't really tell. Okay. Yeah, I can't really see shit down there. What about over here? Can I get something from the desk? I will say it's certainly tense. Oh, hello. Okay, I got the key. So what's gonna happen now? Am I gonna get up there and then just get attacked by something? Kinda hope not. But yeah, so this would actually... This is a really interesting idea. Yeah, to have a game that basically forces you to be very, very still. To be very, very slow and methodical. It would actually be kind of curious if, like... Yeah, like, if anytime there was an enemy encounter, you kind of had to move very, very slowly. Or else, like, it would be, I don't know, necessarily like an instant game over or something, but it might make things a little bit tougher for you. Yeah, that would actually be really curious. Okay. So I assume I'm gonna go use the key or whatever. We're gonna go through here. And then we're back in the hallway. Yeah. Okay. And I just want to check something. I can't go backwards, right? I can't, like, leave? Yeah, no, I can't. Okay. You know, I don't necessarily mind the whole trend that a lot of games are doing, and I think, like, PT really kind of kickstarted the habit of doing the whole looping hallways thing. I think done right, it can be really, really effective. But I do wonder if sometimes games maybe do rely on it a little bit too much. Like, if it's just sort of become this generic shorthand for, like, weird dreamscape. Okay. Don't know what broke out. Don't really want to know. Kinda curious at the same time. But yeah, I wonder if it just, like, if it just became, like, too used. Because I remember the first time I ever saw it in PT, I was like, oh, that's a really fucking cool idea. And admittedly, I do know that there are probably other games or something that did have a similar thing going on. Where it was like, oh yeah, you know, you have to worry about evading this, you have to worry about, like, the world kind of returning back in on itself and looking very, you know, creepy and surreal and all that. And it just, like... Yeah, that's a cool concept for damn sure. I just wonder if maybe it's become too much of a crutch. Kind of like after Slender and Amnesia came out, where it was like the whole thing of just, oh, run away from the monster and you can't escape it. Which, you know, it can work if it's done really well. Like, those games did it pretty effectively. But I do wonder sometimes if too many games just took that as a core concept and then just ran with it. Because, like, though that worked really well in Slender and Amnesia because of the fact that that was, like, a very integral part of their gameplay loop. And I wonder if it's going to be the same thing here. Like, the whole thing with PT was that that it was new, so admittedly it kind of gets a little bit more special treatment because it's the first one to market with an idea. Okay, and this is still... open. Interesting. The hell is that? Is that something new on the floor or no? It's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, so, like, aside from the... I keep on seeing that moving shadow, I keep on thinking it's something coming down the stairs, and it's actually getting to me a little bit. But yeah, so, like, the fact that it is new does mean that, you know, something that does something well the first time kind of gets a pass for it. So I wonder if, you know, it worked really well with PT and the very limited story they were doing, and I wonder if too many developers are sort of taking the wrong lessons from that, I guess. Which again, doesn't mean the idea of like looping hallways and stuff is inherently bad. Or inherently like poorly done or something like that. But it does make me suspect that maybe there's just... I don't know. Again, I go back to the amnesia thing, where it's like, I think people maybe took the wrong lessons from that. Where, you know, what people thought made amnesia necessarily so scary was that, you know, oh, well, you can't interact with things, you can't fight the monsters, you have to run away. And that isn't really, at least in my opinion, what made amnesia scary. Like, it certainly didn't help, you know, or rather, I should say, it certainly didn't hurt, you know, when that's the first time that you've played a game and your whole gimmick is like, well, you can't run away from it or something, you know, or you can't necessarily go bring the fight to it like a lot of old horror games did. You know, you have to basically just flee or hide. But they also did a really good job of building up a world. So when stuff like this is here, and it's just like, hey, go wander around a house for a bunch of time, and then, oh, you know, when something happens, it's like, am I going to have to make a noise? Is that going to be what's going to happen here? Am I going to have to make a noise and get killed? Or... yeah, I don't really know. Is there... that's just a pipe, that's just bullshit. See, I would have expected something up here. I would have expected there to be like something creepy, and admittedly maybe I just missed it. I don't know. But yeah, I could definitely see some cool ideas that have been done with this. I still just worry that indie devs maybe rely on this as a little bit of a crutch for trying to make a spooky, tense story. Like, I guess my question is, why does this need to be a looping hallway? And I honestly, if I was going to come up with an answer just off the top of my head, it would be that it's easier to make. Which is totally fine, mind you. You only ever really need, like, 2 rooms, right? You need the room that the player is loading into, and then you need the room the player is loading out of. So yeah, that probably saves a shitload of time and effort. Yeah, and I probably can't squeeze through there, can I? Yeah, that probably saves a shitload of time and effort in terms of development cycles. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a little bit tense, but I think it's mostly tense because I'm kind of expecting a jump scare. And like, I know I've gone on enough rants about that. I'm not going to subject you all to one more. I don't necessarily hate jump scares. I just want the game to earn them. And this here, I don't think that the game... I don't really know that any, like, 10 to 20 minute indie game could ever... God, is that really fair to say? I don't know that any 10 to 20 minute indie horror game could ever really earn a good jump scare. I guess it is possible. I guess, like... or if they're inadvertent jump scares, like if I turn the corner and there's a monster and it's just the patrolling monster, it's like, oh fuck, oh shit, and then, you know, you freak out for a minute. Yeah, maybe that's... yeah, like that type of jump scare I think would be fine, but it's... I don't know. Or maybe I'm just trying to talk myself out of it because I'm actually feeling a little bit more tension because I'm recording this at like 1 in the fucking morning. I guess we'll just have to go ahead and see. Okay. But no, I mean, overall, like, getting back to the actual game, this is... it's very, very basic, which isn't bad. But I do think that it does itself a tiny bit of a misservice by being so basic, but also kind of forcing the player just to walk everywhere. Because, like, if you tell me, hey, don't make a noise, dumbass... hey, buddy, how you doing? Yeah, if you tell me, like, hey, shitbird, don't make a fucking noise, I'm generally gonna try not to make a noise. And if you give me a walking mechanism to do that, or like a crouching mechanism, I'm probably gonna just stick to those. Which then also means that, you know, if we're doing this, actually, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna try the stairs first. Yeah, which generally though means that, like, if I don't need to, you know, if I could walk normally for the rest of this time, like, am I just making this last a lot longer for me? Which, I mean, hey, if that's the case, that's the case. You know, there's nothing, again, inherently wrong with that. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to just start repeating myself. It's, yeah, this just, I don't want this to end up being an experience where it's like, hey, you know, you could have done this in 10 minutes, but it took you 20 because you listened to the game's advice. You know, I think, oh, hello. This is very, very different. Are we like, yeah, I guess we're just going deeper down into the basement? Yeah, I think, what was that game? Tower of Fate was actually really fascinating to me because of the fact that, what was it? The woman, she was like the Red Priestess or something. I don't remember what exactly her name was, but she told us right at the start. Yeah, oh, by the way, for those of you who haven't watched that, like, seriously go check out that playthrough, or better yet, go play it yourself, because that's a really fucking good game. I was saying, oh yeah, she told us very early on in the game, like, listen to me, and I promise I will never lie to you. And I think in the video, I think I actually did listen to her. I listened to her, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take you at your word. And she never lied to me. And I thought that was fascinating, because, like, you wake up in this weird, surreal world, and you have this mysterious voice kind of seductively, like, toying with you and telling you things. Yeah, like, I think most people's instincts would be not to trust her. I just wanted to see if anything changed, but it doesn't look like they did. Yeah, and then she went ahead and she was like, no, I will never lie to you. And she never did. She maybe didn't tell us the entire story of certain things, but no, she never lied to us. And that was such a fascinating idea to me, to have this very clearly, like, every single gaming trope, every single, I guess, like, literary trope, every single story trope out there, everything that anyone who's had exposure to, like, horror and puzzles, you know, their instinct is going to be, do not trust this woman. But you have to survive. And if you trust her, you know, things work out a certain way. And that was just so fucking cool. And I kind of think that, like, if she had told me to, like, hey, go crouch walk everywhere to be safe, and then I went ahead and crouch walked everywhere, and then it was like, oh, haha, there was actually no threat, I probably would have been pretty negatively inclined towards them. And I can't help but feel that I'm kind of in the same place here, where it's like, hey, the game said don't make a sound, so I'm listening, but it's just very dull. Because of the fact that I'm just kind of walking everywhere and I'm listening to the game. I also don't really know what's gonna happen under here. I hope I don't fucking die and have to redo all this. Actually, I honestly, like, I think if I did just die or something, I don't know that I would redo all this. Yeah, okay. So what's... Okay. What happened? Yeah, I do think that if I did, like, bite it or something, if I fucked up, I don't think I would continue this. Because, like, again, cool fucking idea. Oh, it's now flooded. Great. I guess let's take it one step at a time? Doesn't matter? But yeah, this is a cool damn idea, especially to have, like, especially if they did it really well, where it was like, you can't make a certain threshold of noise. Kind of like Stifle did, except not with the weird echolocation deal. Yeah, I think you could do something really awesome with that, especially if you did, like, tie it into, like, some level of repeating rooms and landscapes and some really creepy imagery and all that. but I'm just not sure that this is quite pulling it off. It's a good looking game, it's a neat concept, but like I kind of wish this had ended 10 minutes ago. Because I don't really think that the game is adding anything new to itself. Yeah, like how many times have I seen, you know, this hallway more or less? And it's like, well, again, am I making this a lot slower than it needs to be because of the fact that it's, you know, I listened to the game? What am I hearing? I'm hearing like a thudding. I don't know if that'll come through on the video or not, but yeah, it's like somebody like banging on something. Yeah. What is that? It seems to only play when I'm moving, so like... What? Yeah, what is that? Yeah, it's like a thudding. Well, I guess fuck it, yeah, let's just try to go upstairs. I guess just keep on moving. Yeah, I definitely think the fact that I'm taking this... Please don't die. I think the fact that I'm taking this game at face value, again, when it said like, hey idiot, don't make a fucking noise, I think that's probably making this drag out a lot longer than it needs to be. Should I just... No, I'm fucking... I'm gonna go on up, yeah, because I'm just like... Yeah, it kind of sucks. I kind of am just ready for this to be over. It's not bad, but I definitely think the game should do a better job of like... Motherfucker, really? Another fucking level? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think the game definitely needs to do a better job of telling you when you can or cannot make a sound, because otherwise... What in the fuck is that? No, really, what the fuck is that? Is that an eye? Okay. Oh wait, no, is that... Oh, no, that's just like a piece of trash. I was like, Jesus, it's like a huge fucking eyeball. But no, yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably my biggest complaint so far. The game has been very fucking clear when it was like, hey, dipshit, don't fucking make noise. And then, you know, you kind of listen to the game when it tells you that, and then it's like, LOL, you may, you know, you didn't have to do all that because you just kind of got to, you just made your game last twice as long. Okay, so is this gonna, oh no, is this gonna be like a fucking moral choice thing? Like, am I gonna have to kill myself? Am I gonna have to flip a lever to do this? Okay, what's happening? Okay, game, I can't really do anything here. So I'm going to assume that I'm just gonna get killed. To be continued, really. So they're just gonna cut it off there. Huh, okay. Well, that was Quiet Basement. Yeah, and the game just went ahead and crashed out, so I'll just cut in something else to... I'll probably just pull out some footage from earlier and put this over while we're talking. That was an interesting game. That was an interesting and kind of cool game concept that had just a very, very big letdown of an execution. Like, I don't even know... If I would've... Could I have just run around? I mean, there was, what, 1 or 2 times that we ever encountered the monster? If that. I mean... Yeah, like... Was there ever really any kind of threat there? Would it have even mattered? Like, what happens if we died? Do we just go back to the last cycle? Does the game kick back to desktop? Like... I don't know. It's a cool as hell idea. I will freely give the developers that. I just think that it was very not well executed. Which probably really sucks. Like, if the developer ever watches this, you know, the developers had a really competent team. They had a really good game there. A couple of the issues early on with, like, some slight stuttering and freezing notwithstanding. But, yeah, that lasted about twice as long as it needed to for what it was. You know, you could have cut out 2 or 3 of the cycles that were just walk in a circle and pick up a key. You could have condensed things down. There could have been some like creepier little spooky moments and such. I will say I'm really happy the developer decided not to shove in jump scares. The fact that the developer didn't is actually really cool, and I'm genuinely proud of the developer for doing that. That was really well done. Because, I mean, it definitely had the tension, but I feel like tension that never really pays off just becomes the new normal. And once you encounter... yeah, pretty much once you encounter anything that causes the tension, then, like... I don't know. But yeah, by the end of that, I wasn't really feeling tense so much, just kind of tired of it, because it was just tedious. So yeah, I think if I was going to tell the developers anything, cut down probably like 1/3 of your cycles at minimum, and add more to the world around you. And also maybe give the player a better indication as to when they can run or not. Because yeah, walking that entire path was just dull. But overall, it was a cool idea for a game. I think you could do something really interesting with a game that like forces you to walk and be super quiet everywhere. Yeah, I definitely think that there's a very cool idea for a game in there. And I can see some really interesting implementations of a game in that. I just think that this really wasn't quite ready to be played. Again, like this just looks like a student project to me. Which again, hey, if that's what it was, that's great. It's pretty solid for a student project. But there's just nothing to really engage. Like, it's just a very forgettable game. But overall, I definitely think these guys have some talent, and I would really like to see them go ahead and work on something that maybe has a little bit better direction and a little bit more to do with it. So, if you enjoyed the video, if you wouldn't mind, please leave a like or leave a comment. How did you feel about this game? Am I being too harsh with my comments, or do you kind of agree that it was a little bit dull? You know, how did you feel overall about this as an experience compared to some of the other indie horror games I've played here? And if you're new to the channel, if you enjoyed the video, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, I would really, really appreciate it. And for everybody else, thank you very much for watching Quiet Basement. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon.